Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekly Collective. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's good to see you. First and foremost, I hope everybody is enjoying the weekend and also the solstice energy, which, interestingly enough, I actually felt very good yesterday going into today. But I did a mini reading on it, and I wouldn't be surprised if today or tomorrow you're starting to kind of hone into some very transformational energy, because just about every single card that I pulled was about like ends, beginnings, change, movement, alchemy. And by the way, that's an amazing connection to the topic you chose for us today, which is going to be to rewrite or to create your happy ending. And the reason I think this is so powerful is because we sometimes forget that we are the ones that are actively co-creating our paths. So when we feel like we're in a bout of bad luck, it's really just maybe being disconnected from the path, from the goal, from our higher energy. And what we're going to try to do today over the course of different sections is learn how to plug back in. And then especially when we get into the special topic today, we're going to really focus on basically reclaiming your power of co-creation, and whatever blocks I identify, hopefully we can just rewrite them and create a different path. More on that when we get to the topic, but in the meantime, I just want to say hello. And if it's your first time here, you picked a great time to join. Every single Sunday, unless there's something unusual, travel, health, or otherwise, I show up. And in this collective reading, we look at a lot of different things. We're going to start off with channeled messages from Source. I'll get into the rest later. Okay, so as I was tuning into the energy for today, one of the first things that I picked up on was like so many paths, so many things that many of you are thinking about, trying to plan, even just engaged with today. And the daily card for Sunday was the World. And it comprises not only the expansive energy that I just talked about and that sort of busy energy, very much like a city, always going, always moving, but it's also ground, like literally the earth. And so today, if there's anything that you can do to simply ground yourself a little bit and feel like, hey, this is I'm going to be okay. This is what you should be focusing on. So I gave some examples in the daily reading. I said, getting out into nature, just taking a walk outside. Doesn't matter what the weather is, rainy, snowy, windy, sunshine, that's part of the planet. Like, get out and experience some of the elements. Things like gardening, exercise, meditation, anything that allows you to release some of the energy that's kind of pent up, but also connect with the planet. This will be very beneficial in helping you realign, because I do feel much like a car, and I'm not a mechanic, but like it's like we need a realignment today so that we can go the distance. So that's the first thing that came through. The other thing here is if you have a hard time grounding yourself and there's a lot coming through, avoid sort of numbing or medicating or trying to push away some of what you're feeling. Meditate, don't medicate. And we're talking about like smoking, drinking, overeating, anything that kind of like numbs the senses, because we are meant to feel certain things for a reason so that we can identify what's working, what isn't, and getting to the source of things. So in other words, don't be afraid to feel whatever it is that you're feeling today. Like a breeze, it moves through you. It won't stay at that sort of steady state forever. Try to say that 5 times fast. But you may need some help while you're moving through some of the emotions. And we have 2 things going on today, solstice, and depending on which country you're in, a lot of places celebrate Father's Day this weekend too. So solstice, it's either going to be the longest or the shortest day of the year, depending on which side of the earth you're on. And that means an extreme. Divine masculine, a very expressive energy. This is about wanting to kind of like take action, do something. And sometimes these two are at opposition. So if you're in an extremely emotional state and you're trying to take action, you're not doing it from a place of discernment. You're just doing it from an emotional state. And if things are feeling very contracted, same sort of thing, it'll be a fight or flight mode. So I would advise today to take care of yourself. Let's go into the divine masculine, that is the sort of caretaker, nurturer, just like divine feminine can be that. And talk, think, plan, but you don't actually need to execute on the plan today. That's my 2 cents worth, okay? Let's move into the tactical and practical 7-day forecast, helping us navigate everything in the week ahead. And this is a complement to the daily card pulls. Sometimes I get a question, which one should I look at? If you're watching today, look at this. If it's the day of, look at that. And if you want to look at how the energy is shifting based on your own choices or the collective energy shifting, go ahead, because they work together. It's kind of like when you make a plan and then start the plan. You're like, oh, I need to change this, I need to change that. And then every day the energy shifts a little bit. So for those that always wonder, that's how that works. Okay. We're going to pull one card for every day of the week. Take a moment, close your eyes, put your feet on the ground at the very least, and breathe. And imagine that the sun is shining directly overhead, creating a circle of light around you. All right, we have a pretty much even spread of upright and reversed. A lot going on this week. Definitely some healing coming through in the upcoming weekend. Why don't we begin with the energy for this Sunday? We have the 4 of Cups, but it's in the reverse position. So the universe has your back. You can't always see it, but it does. There's, with the 4 of Cups, oftentimes a blessing in disguise, and I'll pull the traditional card in just a moment, but I like the way this is illustrated. So she feels like everything's going wrong and happening to her, when in fact some events have been called in for her, and she's also attracted certain things to learn from. Things never happen to us. It's for us and with us because we co-create. But it feels like it. I know that because when you're in the throes of something difficult, whether it's a financial situation, a health challenge, the loss of a loved one, difficulty at work, whatever it is, it never feels like it's a benefit. It never feels like it's a lesson, or if it is, you're like, universe, stop testing me. But in essence, it's saying, I've got your back and I'm trying to help you see where the break in the storm is. Sometimes we need that agitation just to help us understand, I don't like or want or need this. And once you realize that for yourself, then you can start to decide, what do I want? What do I need? Why am I here? So there's a break in the storm coming. There is a silver lining. And I'm going to pull the traditional card here in a moment where you see the floating ace. So Spirit is actually saying, how about this? He's so focused on that he can't see the blessing. Both of these illustrations have merit. This one shows that the universe has your back, even when it feels like it doesn't. This is also about the grass always seeming greener or better or easier on the other side, when in fact you don't know what someone else has gone through in their own life. And it bears, like, it's worth just waiting a moment, breathing and thinking, you know, what do I have in front of me that I can be happy for? And also, if you get inspired by someone, that can be okay too. Don't get jealous, don't get envious, get inspired. And think to yourself, if they did that, I'm going to do that. I can do that. And that's a great way to turn things around, okay? So there's a lot of energy coming forth today. Give yourself a chance to get your feet on the ground, look at the big picture, and know that you're going to get through this. All right, let's take a look at the energy of Monday. On Monday, we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is in the reverse position, and there's more than one way to do something. This is typically a card that represents structures, tradition, even like rigidity in all of the aforementioned. But when it's reversed, it's saying, oh, that's just the old way. There's a new way. It may confound, confuse, or conflict with the way that person expects me to do it, but I can do it. The only times that there's an that this won't work is like sometimes for legal matters, especially when it comes to governments. There's certain things that you just have to do. Taxes, immigration, visas, stuff like that. And also when you're in employment, there's certain HR regulations or medical regulations where it's like, you just can't fight the system there. But in other aspects of life, let's say this is your mother, father, or this might be a church, or this might be something where it's like, you can only do this, and they kind of wag their finger. That's more their fear of you rebooting or exiting the system and trying your own thing. So when you're just going against tradition, you can break it and you can make your own new traditions. When it's the law, oftentimes you have to work through the rubber stamp stuff. You might try to change it for the better for the future, but for the moment there might be a gatekeeper that you have to work with. And typically there's two different disciples on this card. And with that, I mentioned that there are ways to navigate the Hierophant, and that involves working with a peer energy for the Hierophant or an assistant. So again, sometimes if you can't get in touch with someone, it's their friend, family, or assistant that can help you get there. There's a way to network around the challenge. And that person often has the ear or the confidence of the decision maker. And so if you can't win with them, try to get with the people around them, okay? Suffice it to say, on Monday, it's a day to get organized if you aren't already organized, to understand the to-do items and the system per se. This is also a highly spiritual card, so let me bring it up for one more moment here. It's a good day to meditate, to write, to journal, and basically to connect with whatever your version of Source and Divinity is, okay? All right, let's look at Tuesday. Things start to move. Any sort of challenges that you've been experiencing this week, I feel like finally you're releasing or eliminating, I should say, the anchor and allowing your ship to set sail. This is a fantastic day to send out something, an email, a text, a package, to announce something, very much like the world energy that I picked up on coming into today. And if there's anything that has just been sitting, this is the day to either pick it up and start working on it again or click send. This is also one of the phases of grief. So it's the moving on phase. And like to kind of break there's like 4 of them in the tarot that are represented. So death, which is the immediacy of the loss. There is the Judgment card, which is letting go, seeing the sort of liminal space that is life and death, and understanding that there's a cycle that's going on. That's the rebirth. But in between that, there is the 4 of Swords, which is starting to put something to rest. But this is the powerful one where you're already past it. You're already 2 miles down the road. You're moving on, or you've moved on. And to me, it's quite auspicious. You may find that someone or something that once was weighing heavy on you no longer is. And you can see beyond the loss, beyond the challenge, beyond the moment. And that's one of the biggest blessings here. The question with the 6 of Swords is, are you driving the ship or are you the passenger in the ship? Because there can be a passive nature to the 6 of Swords. In the traditional card, you see both, like someone that's navigating and someone that's sitting there. And what baggage are you taking with you? It's a great day to release baggage, okay? And you might find that travel is expected, requested, or advantageous for you as well, okay? It's an auspicious card though. Movement. The absolute reversal of like stagnation. You've got a lot going on. All right, the middle of the week could feel a little frustrating for some of you, but you can strategically work through it. We have 5 of Wands, but here we have like a master chess player or a chess master at the top here, and she's thinking, all right, this isn't the greatest, but if I do this for X amount of time, then I can do this, then I can do that. She's finding the pattern, she's finding the silver lining, and she's moving through the moment without leaning in, or like without relying on conflict or confrontation, which can be a part of the 5 of Wands. She's looking at it from an elevated point of view, and she's trying to move up and out of a situation into the 6 of Wands, which is leadership, because this kind of looks like a leader. Now, what you want to avoid today is being someone's pawn. And I'm going to pull the traditional card here. Someone may want you to do the dirty work. They may want you to do something that just doesn't feel right. You may also just, like the message that's coming through, you might feel that the thrill is gone. So if you feel like you're going through the motion, figure out, why am I doing this? And how can I do something that doesn't feel so exhausting, that is a better use of my time, energy, and attention, and put the focus there. So here's the traditional one, and basically it's a stalemate. Each and every person is pushing one of those batons or wands at another person, and nothing's happening. It's just a bunch of noise. And so there might be something going on where it's a distraction, it's a smokescreen. And when you take a break and just let it go, then you can move beyond that. And that's really what she's trying to do, is not get caught up in the machinery. I mean, we see this in everyday life. If you are distracted, you're not tuned in. And there are so many different things that can comprise this distraction. All of the sort of the news cycle, which changes rapidly, but also a lot of it's just regurgitation. So learn what you need to and get in and out of the news cycle. Like, it's good to know what's going on in the world, but don't spend too much time on it, because it's gonna all change and repeat tomorrow. Looking at people around you that are sort of stuck in a rut and trying to keep you stuck, like I talked about earlier. We want to get out of the minutia, the sort of small print, the kind of like when your blinders are on. You don't want to have that be the main event, the main focus. Move through it and get on to the next thing. So don't get stuck in the little stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff. We have 2 5s in a row, so as we're looking at Thursday, it's more about self-worth, self-confidence, and maybe negotiating for a little bit more. So the card was reversed, but in the upright position, we see someone who is a little bit caged in on like their heart space, the sort of like flow of abundance in their life. And there's this question, like, am I worth it? Yes, you're worth it. What happens is that in the past, there are people, there are teachers, there are mentors, it can be anybody that you might have needed or wanted or trusted, but they weren't there, or they said something that they thought might have been helpful, but it was really more hurtful, and it didn't allow you to get past that. So you're starting to wonder, can I do this? Am I worth it? And this is a wound from the past. So here is the wounded card, the wounded healer, basically, the 5 of Pentacles. And what happens here is that sometimes you start to accept less than your worth. This can be in work, it can be in relationships, and this is coming through today to remind you that you're worth more than you imagine, and you are worth it, full stop. If something in your life isn't enough, then ask for more. Then negotiate. Then also step into a position of power and say, this isn't ample. This isn't what we discussed. I can do this, but I'm not going to do that. You're setting boundaries and expectations, which is a power play. And one of the overarching themes, because we're looking at Father's Day this weekend, besides paternal energy, is that solar plexus connecting with power. So reclaiming what's rightly yours, which is your natural power, and setting boundaries and limits and asking to get your fair share. And on Thursday, don't accept anything less than your fair share, ultimately. You may be dealing with some healing. This can involve the foot, ankle, even the knee, some arthritis, an old injury, some inflammation. Take it easy on yourself. It's a day to not overextend yourself in finances, and the heart might need some healing. Something from the past is coming up and agitating things, so take care of yourself, okay? Things start to look much, much better towards Friday. I'm loving that we have an Ace of Cups, an overabundant Ace of Cups with all these beautiful moths and butterflies coming out of it, beautifully connected to what I really do think this whole solstice energy is about, which is healing, re-emerging, reclaiming your power, and also reinventing things. We do not need to rinse and repeat. Just because you've always done this, or you've been expected to do something, or you said you were going to do something, it doesn't mean that this has to always be. So this is loving yourself enough to just go for it. Express your true self in thoughts, in actions, in dress, whatever, literally express yourself, okay? There's a great song by Madonna called Express Yourself. And you want to be around people that also allow you to be in that authentic expression. This is a great day for creativity. It's a great day for love. It's a great day to spend with others and have some fun. Please, folks, have some fun. We work hard enough every day. That's a day to not work so hard. All right. As we take a look at the weekend, more healing. There's some themes. It feels like Spirit really wants you to iron out all of the wrinkles, because this almost brings us to the end of the month. Not quite, but almost. It wants you to get all of the wrinkles out before we get into July, right? So, message received. I like this Ten of Swords because although it can represent pain in the body, so by the way, this could be an inflammation, it could be some issues with your back, some anything that's kind of like either chronic, acute, or inflammatory. That's the Ten of Swords. But this card is saying some of the pain could also be coming from within. It's a mental stress and trying to deal with everybody. And they're literally needling her. They're going in there and saying, you know, they're making fun of her or criticizing her, and it's all taking its toll. So this is about letting go of those painful experiences, thoughts, words, people, environments, etc. And you don't have to do this alone. In fact, if you're in the Ten of Swords moment, you should lean on a friend. You should talk to a counselor. You should pull back a little bit. So on Saturday, be gentle with yourself. Get a massage. Get some chiropractic adjustment. Go and, you know, whatever your acupuncture, Reiki, I don't care. Heal yourself. Heal thyself. And relax. Don't work too hard. And if there's someone that's trying to be negative or is needling you, just say not today. And honestly, just stop. Full stop. So this is about prioritizing yourself and taking care of yourself and creating really firm boundaries and not overexerting yourself, okay? Healing. When it's reversed, it's really healing and recognizing what got me into this agitated state or inflamed state. Definitely don't get into an argument or confrontation or negotiation if you can avoid it. And if you can't avoid that, then you might have to just sort of think about elevating the conversation and not taking the bait. This is someone who throws, you know, a few darts your way and you duck them and you say, wait a second, this isn't really helping either of us, and you redirect. All right, and then on Sunday, it feels like many of you finally know whatever it is that you don't want, and you might be ready to let it go. The Three of Swords can be a good cry. It can be a disappointment, and it can be that straw that breaks the camel's back. And the reason that it's okay sometimes to have the final straw, per se, is when you finally know you've had enough, there's a sense of calm that washes over you, and a neutrality that will help you. Once you process the emotions, there's this new sense of, I got nothing to lose. I'm going to go in this direction. It's what makes you say, we need to break up, I quit, or we're done. Because you value your happiness and your heart and your worth much more. You could be going through something, someone around you could be going through something. This can also just be a passing thought of frustration or disappointment. None of these cards have to encompass the entirety of the day. It can literally be 5 minutes. Or it can be 5 hours, it's your choice. With the Three of Swords, decide what it is that brings you joy and go towards the joy. More joy, less pain. Honestly, that's one of the things with me that kind of helped me decide to take a leap of faith and try something different, which I'll be doing in a month, doing some traveling, trying a new place, a new part in the world, because I'm like, I've been in a cycle long enough. And when you're in it long enough, you're like, why not try something else? So this is sometimes what informs some of our biggest and best changes. Meeting new people, starting new jobs, embarking on new adventures. So sometimes you have to go through the pain to really get to the rainbow. And I really think that that's what the weekend is about. But I'll be with you next Sunday so we can look at that. And hopefully by then, because we're going to look at a lot of other stuff, you'll already have moved on and it's going to be something better. And that's how tarot works. We read it, we adjust, then we reread it. It's like a GPS. How am I doing? Did that work? Okay, maybe not. Let's try this. Okay? And that's why we can continue to look at things because that'll be 7 days in the future. And I hope that we can and will change what I see by then. All right, let's look at highlights and challenges in the week ahead. I think the highlights are Tuesday and Friday. Tuesday is a breakthrough and a moving on and a moving up day. Friday is creative, joyful, loving. The biggest challenges are really on next weekend, but depending on the choices you make during the week preceding it, it could be much easier to deal with. And this could just be a decision, I've had enough. Enough is enough, like that old song with, I forgot the two people, Barbra Streisand and Donna Summer. No More Tears, literally, it's got two titles. And you just decide, I don't need to cry these tears anymore, I'm ready to move in a new direction, okay? But there's 2 days of the week where I really see a lot of movement. The rest of the week, You're seeing the silver lining today. You're pushing through expectations, trying your own path on Monday, and the rest of the week is manageable. All right, let's move on to the elemental breakdown, which is going to help us take a pulse, see what's going on with everything. I'm just going to clear these cards because we have enough on the table. So maybe use a different deck for this as well. Okay, so let's see which I want to use. And by the way, I'm going to see really quickly if Apollo is visible in the background. No, I don't have this one working. Okay. For some reason, I don't have his camera working right now, so that's okay. I'll pull him up later. But for now, we're going to focus on, like I said, the elements. Okay. I think this is going to be good for the elements. Fire, earth, air, water. Okay. We will begin here with the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. For some of you, you're deciding to reevaluate a career or life path. So the Knight of Pentacles in the upright position is action-oriented, moving forward, moving things along, but when it's reversed, he's taking a step back and looking at the breadcrumbs. How did I get here? How far have I come? Do I like this? And there's no right or wrong answer to any of these things. He's really just inviting you to take stock. If you like where you're going, continue. If you don't, this is like that strategic Five of Wands card where she's deciding what the next move is going to be. You may also decide to move around some investments this week. I'm going to take some of this and invest in myself, or I'm going to buy something, or I'm going to sell something. It's taking the money and moving it around. Make sure that you explore all options in front of you before doing this. Talk to an advisor, etc., because this is a thoughtful card. He's also barefooted, so one thing that he's doing is he's not afraid to kind of like get in the middle of something that needs to be built, or getting like a firmer handle on things. So when it's your schedule, your money, a project, it's rolling up your sleeves, getting your hands dirty, getting your feet dirty, whatever, like connecting with it. Not just hoping that everything is working, but literally collaborating, co-creating, working on it. And you can change your mind, you can change your direction, you can change your luck. 2 days ago, I think I had that daily card read. That's really important for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. For those that didn't watch that daily, because I know that some of you that watch the lives don't watch the monthlies, and some of you watch that, don't watch the dailies. So anyway, the message there, and I strongly believe this, is what we call luck is actually alignment and awareness. So when your third eye is open, you can see paths in front of you. When you don't psych yourself out and you're in that synchronicity and you just recognize it, that's luck. Preparation and presence of mind, and ability to see, identify, and just go in it. So people that are lucky are just present. They're present and ready, and they don't doubt themselves. That's it. So you can change your luck by being present, identifying an opportunity, and walking through it. And you can also focus on self-worth, because that helps create channels of opportunity. I'm worthy, I'm ready, let's do it. Make it a bumper sticker. Slap it on your car, put it on your vanity while you're getting ready. Look at that. I'm worthy, I'm ready, let's do it, okay? And if you do that, you can change your luck, change your direction, and continue to make some great progress this week. Get an idea of what you're trying to do and where you're going, because if you don't know where you're going, the universe can't show up for you, and other people don't really know what to do with you. All right, so let's move on from fire to earth. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We have the Page of Wands in the reverse position. Don't overcomplicate, don't overthink. Listen, definitely listen to what people have to say, but there does come a point where sometimes you can get too much advice, or you're so far in your head that you're spiraling into directions that are not necessary, advantageous, or possibly even real. So we just need to breathe and trust your first instinct, your intuition, the download. The other thing here is you might be holding on to something, an idea or a goal, and doing nothing with it. And I love this page because she's like, here we go. And it always reminds me of Mary Tyler Moore, which is now an ancient series. When I was a kid, it was on like Nick at Night, which was a cable TV network. And I just remember the opening scene where I forget her last name, but Mary was the main character. She had Mary Richards or something like that. But she was a writer for a TV station, and she moved to a new part of the U.S. to start a new chapter. And at the time, it was very unique for a woman to be on her own, independent, doing this, chasing this, being a career person. And the final line of the sort of intro song is, "You might just make it after all." She's giving it her best, and she's throwing her hat literally into the arena for consideration. She's like, let's go for it. And this is very Mary Tyler Moore in the intro, just saying, what have I got to lose? This is me. Take it or leave it. And that's really one great thing that you can do with your ideas. You bake it, you cook it, you make it, and then you put it out there. It's like a chef. You like it? Great. If you don't, I got more recipes. I got more things to try. This was the best that I could do with that. And as long as you cook your best idea, that's the best. That's all you have to do. You can sleep with yourself at night, and at your end of days when you're in soul review, you'll be like, I tried what I was going to do, and I tried this, and eventually I found my way, but I never gave up. So don't give up. Throw your hat into the ring. Don't overthink it. Have some fun. You got this, okay? Get inspired too. One last thing. If you're feeling a little blocked, you can read a book, listen to a podcast, watch a movie, or listen to a speaker. Someone else out there might help you get inspired by their story, okay? Moving onward to the air signs. All right, so Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. First upright card in the elemental forecast. Things are starting to gallop forward here with the Chariot. It's upright. He's actually on top of the Chariot, getting a bird's eye view. There's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts. And interestingly enough, even if you normally trust, lean on, or depend on someone, I feel like you might have to double check because you are your own best advocate. You can do this better than anyone, and you might have to take the reins and sort of like steer your own ship, even if someone else has been helpful before. They might drop the ball, they might miss something, they may not understand what it is that you need, so you're gonna have to do this, possibly. Travel could be coming through for all the air signs this week. If there's something you believe in, fight for it. The Chariot is a battling card too. Manage your own affairs, get things moving. There's a lot of moving pieces. You can do this, and ultimately, this really nicely connects to that Six of Swords energy, which was what? Was that Tuesday or whatever? So I feel like by the middle of the week, you will have made so much progress. So trust in that. Keep up the hard work. It's paying off. And you can do this. That's really, I think all of you needed is a little bit of a push to do so. Don't be afraid to fight for something you care about. The only thing that's challenging is there are actually 3 different energies on this card, the main character and then the 2 horses. Don't put the carriage in front of the horse. And what I mean by that is you don't want to create all these scenarios and think, well, what if this happens? What if that? Just start moving. Have your GPS, have your plan, but know that you're going to be able to course correct and react in real time. If you create too many obstacles in your mind, you'll never get this off the ground. But ultimately, I do think you're going to get off the ground and running this week, as long as you don't get in your own way, okay? Moving on to the water signs. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, we have the Wheel of Fortune coming through for you. It's in the upright position, very auspicious. It does say, trust yourself, take a leap of faith. We have casino chips and dice. So a calculated leap of faith, a calculated risk, one that you've researched, weighed out, and you are willing to kind of go there. It's also negotiating. And for those of you that are in that rut of the 5 of Pentacles that came through around the middle of the week, this is you finally realizing, gosh, I'm worth so much more. I want more. It's okay to want more, especially when it's in resonance with your worth. It's not selfish or it's not needy when it's actually just aligning to, I've done the work, I put in the time, I want what I deserve. Amen. Get it. Go get it. And that's what we have with the Wheel of Fortune. You have I wouldn't say necessarily the upper hand, but you have a really great ability to negotiate to your benefit. Look at your budget, look at your schedule, ask for more. And if there's something that you want to do, look into it, go for it. And I mentioned before an analogy that has come to me probably like 15 years after looking at this card. But I like to look at the like abundance in general as like the tides. Sometimes you're in a high tide moment where everything's working and you got a ton of money, ton of opportunities, ton of time. Sometimes you're in low tide when you're working 2 jobs, can't make ends meet. It feels like it's never gonna get out of that. But the tide ebbs and flows. And remember what I was saying to the other signs. You can make your luck. You can change your luck. You can open up new opportunities, new passageways. And for many of you, that's what this is, identifying a new and more beneficial passageway and not being afraid to go for it. There could be something transactional that needs to happen, a sale or a purchase this week. We're seeing that a lot in the cards. So do your homework, get insured, and when you're ready to make that happen, then do it, okay? Pretty good week overall for everybody. There was nothing here to me that felt, I had to kind of like go deeper into the cards because they're all good. We had a lot of knights and we had a couple of major arcanas. So knights, pages, major arcana. You got this, folks, okay? Let's get into the special topic. But before we do that, if you enjoy what you see here, I don't ask often and I don't over ask, but please subscribe, click the share button and share it to another platform. And yeah, like and leave a comment when this is on replay. You can also give back and help us meet our goal today. I was trying to do a poll here, but I'll figure this out. I was thinking we could do either looking into divine masculine messages from your guides or messages from your loved ones. I'll try to initiate the poll later, but let's just try to make the target, and we'll do something fun for another 10 or 15 minutes at the end. In the meantime, let's get ready for the special topic for today. All right, so creating your happy ending. We can infer from this that some of you may be feeling like you're stuck. It's the part of the movie I was watching. Actually, no, I was reading a book the other night. And if there's a romance in a movie or if you're looking at a rom-com on TV, there's always this annoying moment where there's a misunderstanding. And it's like, you just want the 2 main characters to sort it out. Can we just get to the happy ending? Like, this is stupid. You guys just need to talk. You're in their heads because it's a movie or a book, and you can see the way through. So think of this reading as that. We're going to look at that stupid moment where it can be much easier. Like whatever the block is. It's a misunderstanding, it's fear, it's just a lack of being present or something. So we're just going to skip that chapter that is annoying in movies, books, and things like that, and get to the good stuff. But I will help you process some of the not so good stuff because that is a part of this experience. All right, let me decide which deck I want to use for this. So one moment. Oh yeah, let's use this one. Oh, if the countdown is closed, that's too bad. I don't think it... Oh, did it end? We didn't reach it? Come on, guys. We'll start another one. I'll do it a little less here. Give me a second here because I don't want to... here we go. Let's just do 20, and we'll do it for 2 hours. There you go. And, all right, now you can help me make it. Actually, it's not working. It's okay. Just give some, just go ahead and do it in chat. I don't have time because I don't have a moderator today to deal with this. So I trust that you guys will give back a little bit with some super stickers and super chat. I don't want to take too much focus from the reading. All right, nice deep breath. I'd like us to focus on whatever your block is, whatever it is that's taking you out of where you want to go. And then I want you to imagine what it is that you want me to look at. Like, what's your happy ending? All right. Please just hold on the countdown for a second. I gotta pull the cards. One thing at a time, folks. let's see here. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. I got too many, I got better things to do. There's only so much I can do on a live stream at once. So let's focus on your catalyst. And next time, if there is a poll, like just, if you want to do something, it shouldn't take 2 hours on that one. That's why I was like, it's not a big deal. All right, back to the reading. Commitment. So we're looking, it's so funny because I was mentioning rom-coms. So when it comes to relationships, employees, friendships, someone that you love, someone that you really want to be a part of something, express your thoughts. So as an employer, if you have someone that's working freelance and you think to yourself, gosh, this person is an asset to the business, hire them, don't wait. If you have an existing employee and they haven't gotten a raise or a promotion or recognition, recognize them, please. If you have a friend that's constantly helping you and supporting you, just be there for them. Show the love, show the support, express yourself. And for those of you that might be thinking of popping the question, and you're afraid, you'll never know until you ask. So this is about making sure, and don't, if someone says, I'm not ready, okay, thank you, I'm glad I know. Because you might be really ready and ready to go in a different path. You don't have to change yourself. You don't have to change someone else. You don't have to force them when it comes to that kind of commitment. But for the other stuff, it's really just about recognizing existing, I want to say the word beauty, but beauty and dedication and commitment and saying, thanks for being there, okay? And that's one of the big things that never happens in these stories, especially the sort of love stories out there. There's someone who assumes something. They see them with someone and think it's another person. Or they don't hear the confirmation that they need and they figure they don't like me and they move on. Or they hear something wrong or whatever. It's miscommunication or lack of communication. So let's really focus on that. Now, completely shifting this around because we're looking at create your happy ending. Now it's about you getting committed to what you love. It does not have to be a person. Passion can go into multiple places, including projects, goals, and personal development. Are you committed to what it is you want to create? If you are, the sky's the limit. So this is a time to really get committed, to really get focused, to really make that happen, okay? And if you're on the flip side and you're not getting the support and commitment that you want, that you need, that you require, then you know you can do better, okay? Like there's somewhere where your particular beauty and, skills are going to be appreciated. All right, let me take a drink and then we're going to get into the Celtic Cross. Okay, so at the center of the spread, King of Swords. We have the King of Swords in the reverse position. Think before speaking. Think before acting. And if there's something that you've already thought out, then it's time to take the action. So I'm either seeing procrastination or, what's the best word? It's not impulsive? Yeah, impulsivity. Kind of like just doing it without being present. So I mentioned one of the ways to make or change your luck is through presence of mind and identifying synchronicities and acting in real time. So don't delay when that happens. But inaction or overthinking can also be the flip side. So you're trying to find that happy medium. Now this is interesting. So in this particular illustration, someone is reaching for the sword, a power play. So you can also say, you can reclaim something or establish that you were the first. You might be fighting something. This can also be a legal matter where it's an infringement of intellectual property or copyright. And a lot of times it's first use. It depends on the country. But there might be a chance for you to reclaim something where someone's trying to make a power play. And also it's like an old saying that gets overused, but the early bird gets the worm, or you snooze, you lose. Someone else is ready to go in and go for something. So whether it's someone that you love, a job that you want, an opportunity that is ripe for the picking, if you don't go for it, someone else will. So it's time. I could sum this up by saying, think before you speak, think before you act, but don't think so much that you don't do anything. It's time to act. okay? And if someone is trying to take your moment, steal your thunder, pull it right back, pull focus back, because that's what someone's trying to do, is step in and pull focus. I love the Judgment card. The Judgment card is a chance for you to rise up. And typically we would see souls rising from the dead, but here we just have a little child, a little baby, being reborn in that light of creation, reimagination, rebirth, etc. Okay? With Judgment, when it's either reversed or in a crossing position like it is here, on some levels, or some level, you already know, I want this or I don't want this, or this is right or this is wrong. It's there. You feel it in your heart, you feel it in your gut, you're filtering it in and you know that it's true. But the head is over analyzing and you're thinking to yourself, I want to do this, but ... What will people think? What if I fail? What if this is wrong? Etc., etc. That isn't really helping you move forward. When you know, and that's how I'm interpreting this Judgment card. So if you feel it in your bones, then you owe it to yourself to do it, whatever it is that you need to do. This leap of faith, this change, this path, this release. This is the second to last, the penultimate card. Number 20, 21 is the world. So you're just one step away. That final step is the hardest because it involves doubt and fear and frustration. But when you get through it, it's like cinematic. The Judgment card is one of the most cinematic cards because literally on the traditional one, there's this angel, there are souls rising up, there's light, there's change. It's like otherworldly. And then you get to the world. So the liminal space between the second to last and the last step are the most challenging. And again, I like to sometimes use the analogy of an athlete in a race, whether they're a sprinter or a long distance runner. You especially see it there where the body is trying to give out, or the mind, it's like this battle between the two, and you see even like these weird sort of spasms because it's just like pure will and adrenaline that pushes them to the finish line. So you may be going through some of that where muscle memory and mind, they don't know what to do with it. So this is where will and just sheer perseverance will get you to the finish line. But gosh, it's going to be worth it. So don't give up. Because you will get your happy ending, but like spirit kind of wants you to not, like it's a test. It's not spirit, I would say it's like shadow energy coming through. And it's like if you want an out, I'll give you one, but I encourage you not to take that out. Do you know what you're looking for? So there are two songs that come to mind. The U2 song, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And then the Bangles, If She Knew What She Wants, which was a cover song. But like both of them they're on different ends of the extremes. So with the U2 song, it's like the constant fool energy. Literally, they were talking about walking the streets and they're still trying to find things. It's very much like a midlife song where you're like, okay, I've made it this far. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I still haven't figured it all out. And what I would answer to the U2 song is, that's okay. That means that you're still awake, aware, and you're questioning, and you just have to keep getting out there and exploring. It's okay to keep, as long as you keep seeking, you'll keep finding. When you stop looking, then things stop happening. For the Bangles song, basically that is spirit saying, if I know what you want, I can give it to you. If I don't know what to do. So take a moment today and daydream a little bit and ask yourself, what do I want? This is connected to also, as we can see here, like divination. I love that we see the coffee grounds here. Thinking, dreaming, reaching with the mind and thinking, what about this? Now it's all songs and they're all typically 80s, 90s, and 2000s, but now I have like heart, what about love? Whatever it is you're looking for, what is it? What about this? What about that? What about love? Maybe some of you are looking for a little more passion in your life. I need to update it and just do a playlist sometimes of all the songs in Nicholas's mind. But those are the three that popped in my retro playlist for this morning. decision time. It's decision time, okay? Now, success, first of all, it's subjective, meaning that to everybody, their version of success is going to be different, but it's already here. It's already in your energy. So Spirit has 6 of Wands. This kind of looks like midsummer almost, or maybe this is midwinter. I don't know what it is. But anyway, it's nice for the solstice energy today. Be the light, lead the way, because we see them with the candles. So it's probably the winter equivalent of this. So be the light in the dark, lead the way. Don't be afraid to really go for whatever this is. Sometimes it's lonely when you initiate something because you're leading the charge, you're not following the trend, you're making the trend. Trend setting, right? So don't be afraid to be a trendsetter. That can also help you get your happy ending. It confounds people around you because they don't get it. But when you look at fashion, for instance, what looks strange on the runways, typically 3, 6, 12 months later is like in every major department store. They kind of showed like the highest version of it that's, you know, exaggerated a bit, but then it becomes mainstream. Same thing with music that like at the time seemed like it didn't fit. Some of those albums are the artist's best albums I found. Like Lady Gaga's Art Pop is misunderstood. It was kind of experimental, but it was good. Or Britney Spears' Blackout. Or like there's a bunch of, at the time, some of them didn't make it or they weren't as respected. Then years later, you're like, actually that thing is solid. It was just too weird for the time. David Bowie was someone constantly experimenting with different soundscapes. So don't be afraid to set a trend rather than following it. All right, Hanged Man, this is you right now thinking, Nicholas, it's not happening. But it is. And so recently, I'll give a real life example, but I had to push my departure date instead of the week of like the 13th. It has to be the following week, the week of the 20th, because I needed some paperwork for Apollo. And I thought to myself, ugh. And then I was like, oh, but I'm healing a little bit of an injury that happened in my knee. It's much, much better. And I was like, oh, it's actually Spirit giving me an extra week for healing so that when I get on the plane or I'm carrying I was like, it's an alignment. And also, let's say for some of you that are trying to find a partner, you go to an event, nothing happened, or you're trying to it's like, when am I going to meet this person? The delays that you're experiencing could be also due to the fact that the other person is getting their life together. You're trying to get your life together. There's a pause. And then when you get out back into the world and things are naturally moving, you will be perfectly aligned and bump into this opportunity, whether it's a job, a love interest, etc. Delays oftentimes are intentional, especially when they're out of your control. This is one of the most beautiful Hanged Mans because in this one we can see them looking past the block and saying, oh, it was there, so I would be at this place at this time to meet this person and meet that opportunity. I'm being held still and then released so that once I'm out there, it's all going to align. Is it frustrating? Yes. Will it still be okay? Yes. Is it a delay? Uh-huh. But with the delay, you can rest, you can plan, maybe you can get a little more done. No harm in a day, a week, a month. Sometimes, usually with the Hanged Man, it's not forever. It's just a stasis, it's a necessary block or delay that will help you identify something else. And by the way, this person's hanging upside down so they can see an angle that they wouldn't otherwise. And this card is a key to divinity because in mythology, Odin, of his own sort of desire, decided to hang himself upside down by the foot, by the way, that's why it's there, and wait to receive information from the Tree of Knowledge. And that's the secret of the runes, basically. So a delay sometimes can lead you to a better outcome. I had a professor in grad school once that said, maybe he was just making us feel better about stuff, but like, because I studied, and it's what I'm doing here too, but like video editing and filmmaking and stuff. If one of your projects crashed, because at the time we were using jazz drives, they don't even exist anymore, like zip drives, but bigger. And they were these temperamental, this is before you even had like zip drives. So sometimes things would crash and you would have backups. He's like, have 3 backups in 3 locations, but sometimes you're going to lose something. He said invariably, even when he was working with traditional film, if like you had to reshoot something or recut something, oftentimes that second cut was better. Because when you went into it, you're like, I already know what I need to do. Boom, 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 you get what you need, and then you come out of it, it's like cleaner and better. So sometimes when things fall apart and you have to rebuild it, you can do it faster, you can do it cleaner, and the sort of like the core of it's still there. So don't freak out if something is delayed or you fall. Brush yourself off, you'll heal, and you might do something better next time. The delay is not the end of the line unless you want it to be the end of the line, okay? Yeah, only people that were in school in the late 90s or early 2000s will remember them. They were expensive and they were crappy, the jazz drives. But think of them as like a portable drive that would fail. It was not a question of if, just when. And unlike a hard drive that usually lasts like 3 years before starting to show its age, you might be lucky with like 3 weeks, 3 months, or depended how intense you were working on something. And when you do video editing, you could just fry one of those drives. Thankfully, like you could replace the disc, but I remember at the time, and this even then was expensive. I think they were like $80 for one of those, and they didn't last long enough. All right, back to the point. In the near future, we have the Page of Cups in the reverse position. It's okay to say it's not enough. Something in your life may not be good enough for you. Discernment. I don't want to do this. This doesn't make me happy. I'm not getting what I need. Okay. It's good to know what you don't want. In order to heal, you have to let it out. I wish that song from the 60s was like, big girls, big boys, whatever, grown-ups do cry. And I hate it when we infantilize crying or we genderize the crying. Like, stop it. Everybody needs to cry. So now another song. Everybody hurts sometimes. That's literally the lyrics in the REM song. A great song, a great video. And hurt is something that teaches, releases, and transmutes. When you cry, you're taking energy and transforming it in a physical manner so you can release it. And you're releasing hormones, you're clearing things out, and it feels better. So when you have a good laugh or a good cry, you take a deep breath and then you're like, God, I feel so much better. Get it out, let it out. There's different ways you can transmute the energy. Exercise, therapy, laughing, talking, crying. Pick your favorite, but don't hold it in. Because to hold it in, you're actually going to go more into a childlike behavior, which will be a tantrum. It will cause the Ten of Swords, which can be an outburst. So better to, in the moment, release it, and it will be okay. I'm good now, but like 2 or 3 weeks ago, around the 1st, when I had to move yet again, and I had like a week where I was in a bunch of Airbnbs, there were a couple of days where I was like, I just wanted to cry, and I did. I'm like, this is too much change, too much, too often. Like, it's got to stop, which is why I found a place where I could just park myself until I was leaving. Because we all have our limits, and with this, you might have just reached your limit in something, so know when to say when. Give yourself a moment, ground yourself, and stop for a minute. That's why the Hanged Man is there. You have to stand still. Because if you keep moving with the emotional baggage, you're going to just be doing both. And it will be too much at some point. You have to let the baggage go. Emotional, energetic, environmental, etc. Like, it has to be released. Okay? And interestingly enough, so like fast forward 3 weeks later, I feel great. But I just needed to kind of like go through that. And we have to, if you don't process your emotions, they will process you. It's going to be one way or another. Like, they're going to catch up to you. Okay. Did I say July? I meant June. For whatever reason, these 2 months, I feel like we're in a time warp. I almost launched like yesterday's video. I'm like, oh, what am I putting July in the title? I even said June in the video. Like, so I feel like everything's a little blurry right now, and it has to do with all the cosmic stuff going on. It has to do with all the stuff in the world right now. There's a lot to process. So That's why the daily card, I really feel like grounding energy today would be one of the best things you could do for yourself, okay? All right. Page of Wands. I had to look at the card because it looked different. It almost looked like a sword. Page of Wands. So you don't need to try to catch lightning in a bottle. He is catching it here with his wand because he's a magical, amazing, mystical being. And we all are, because we're tuning in today and co-creating something. But I also, because this card is reversed, it's saying, don't repeat, reinvent. And to the sort of whole point of like some of my favorite artists, music, obviously something that I love. The people that I love the most are the ones where it's like, oh my gosh, where are they going now? That's a totally different turn. I didn't expect it. Sometimes you play the album and you think, I don't know if I like it. And then like 3 or 4 times later, you're like, I think I kind of love it, but I didn't expect it. And so the way to stay relevant and the way to be impactful is to just keep trying new things, not to rinse and repeat the same thing 15 times because it gets boring, it's expected, it's not good. It's then just sort of like the same old, same old. So give yourself permission to not try to best yourself, to just be the best version of yourself. God, that would help us so much, wouldn't it? Like, because we worry about like, oh my God, that was the best. I'm never going to be able to top it. Okay. But maybe you're going to be able to top something else or do something else cool. Like, you got that. Now let's try something new. Or let's iterate. You may surprise yourself. You don't know that. If you just said something like that, you're manifesting a block. What if that was just one rung in a very long ladder? Okay? So don't chase lightning. Don't try to catch it in a bottle. Be the lightning. Try new things. And imagine a different path for yourself. When you finally lean into that and you're like, why not? It's so much more easy and exciting and better. Okay? I like this 3 of Cups. All right, in the environment, we have 3 of Cups, which can represent the reason for the delay because it was reversed. So the Hanged Man is in the upright position, and it's helping you connect to this reverse 3 of Cups. New love, new friendship, new connection, but not yet ready. And maybe you're not ready for this yet either. So when it comes to relationships, don't rush in, don't rush out, don't rush. This is also about not forcing yourself into a clique, because if they don't want you, you don't need them. I used this old analogy like maybe a few months back, but it bears repetition. I remember very vividly, so in the United States between, and it depends, actually it's not universal because, why would we be consistent? When you think about it, it's amazing. We have 50 different states that all, it's amazing that we have any consistency. But middle and high school, sometimes the demarcation between the two is different. Sometimes there's a middle school or junior high or whatever. So I was in middle school where it would be grades 6, 7, and 8. So 9, 10, 11, 12, that's high school. So right between middle and high, so 8 and 9, years 8 and 9, I remember that you had this core group of people, and it would change. So from elementary to middle, whole new group of people, everything changes. And then between middle and high, everything changes. So these best friends that I had in all the previous grades, so for me, because I moved 3 through 8, I thought to myself, we're going to be friends forever. We were so not. The first day of high school, freshman year, I remember going to the lunchroom, and it was this. These new gatherings of people. So the jocks were in one group of tables, the cheerleaders were somewhere else, the academics were, it was literally Mean Girls. And then there were the freaks, the geeks, the dorks, whatever, all of these groups, and you're like, where do I fit? And I remember trying to sit with another group of friends that I knew before, and I was not welcome there. I could tell. I was like, oh, I need to not be here tomorrow. And I think for a couple days I sat alone until I connected with some new people. I was like, okay, good. There's some other people here that are equally disconnected. But the people that didn't welcome me, I didn't try to sit there the second day. That wasn't my tribe anymore. They didn't welcome me. But I knew I would find a new tribe. And so we enter points in our life sometimes where People ebb and flow in and out. You don't have to keep sitting at the old table. I wasn't afraid to just sit down somewhere new, or sometimes take a chance and I thought I recognized someone or they looked welcoming. I'm like, is anyone sitting here? That's how you make friends. So I just tried to make new friends. So you might be at that point in your life where you need to do that. And don't force the connection. Also, don't be afraid to extend a hand and say, hey, why don't you sit with me? If you see someone looking around, you can just wave them over. And we're talking figuratively. So maybe there's someone in your group of friends or at work where it just feels like they're lost. Just check in and say, hey, you want to go grab a coffee? I could use a break. You may have just made their day. And I also remember like when I moved in the 3rd grade and I knew nobody, there were 2 or 3 people that were really, really nice to me. Someone on the bus whose name was Dan, a neighbor named Megan, a couple of other people were like, they were just there for me and they helped me out. And I'm like, thank God there were a couple of new people that said hello and took a risk and took a chance. And then I tried to do the same at various points in my life. You remember their names, you remember even if it was just for like a day or a week, these people were there and then they exited my life. I'm like, but thank you to those people. So you might need to be that for someone else. You might need to ask for some help, all of that, okay? And also what I realized in different points of that sort of experience is I don't care at which table I sit at anymore. And it did change with each time you graduate, you're going to be more and more comfortable with maybe just finding your own group, okay? People come and go, but the ones that are there in the long run, now I have a couple people that were throughout the years, like, so some people from all the way from like the 6th grade till now. We've been friends for decades and it really stood the test of time. So you never know who's going to stick around. But the ones that don't, you're better off. You're better off. A very different read of the 3 of Cups, but that's kind of what I'm getting here is, finding a new group, not trying to force the old connections, and knowing that people naturally grow apart. Some of it is on a soul contract, you've just worked out what you were supposed to do, and now it's time to move on, okay? 6 of Swords in Hopes, Fears, and Opportunities, and it's on top of a 5 of Pentacles. So if we look closely at this card, it's a little dark, but you can see a bunch of people on the street in front of a church, or, yeah, it looks like a church, but they need some help, but they're not actually receiving or asking for the shelter or the connection that they need. And for some of you, you're tired of, like I said, feeling like you're on the outside, so you're out there exploring what else, what if. And going back to, because I think we pulled this one earlier, this can also be this fear of, am I enough? Just because someone didn't see it before doesn't mean that it's either accurate or still prevalent in your energy. In fact, because of this 6 of Swords, I would say it's the opposite. So we have the person that's, I want to say the conductor, it's the wrong thing. It's like the captain of the ship, and then the person that's basically a participant or just in the ship. So are you steering your own destiny? Or are you waiting for someone else to turn the key and drive? You're very much invited in this moment to be steering the ship. Passenger, I couldn't think of the word passenger. All right, let's look at hopes, fears, and opportunities. So we have the Strength card coming through here, which in the reverse position is just an acknowledgement for many of you that you're sort of like, dare I say, sick and tired of something or someone, and you just think to yourself, like, enough. It's okay to take care of yourself and prioritize yourself. This is one of the most powerful and effective advocates in the major arcana. So this plus Justice, they can fight any battle. And I love that they're divine feminine. Emperor and Empress are right up there too, but definitely Strength. I'm going to look at the traditional card while we're talking. So Strength is saying 2 things. You've got this. You've got this challenge, whatever it is, and you can win it. But you don't have to keep doing this because it takes a lot of effort for Strength to win. And at this point, she's sick and tired of it. And she doesn't have to or want to keep picking up the pieces and making it work. So occasionally she can like project manage, get it done. It's very paternal, maternal energy. All right, are you doing this? Let's do that. Okay, but there comes a point where it's like, now you can handle this. Because she wants to use her strength and her fortitude and her energy for something else. So you don't have to be someone else's strength card. You don't have to pick up the pieces. You don't have to do it all the time. You can let them fall. You can let them fail. You can let them go. You can move on to something else, because the preceding card, the Six of Swords and the Five of Pentacles, was all around that. You have to put your time and energy into something else, and that will really help you with creating that happy ending. We're going to look more specifically at that question, but I want to go into each of the expanded questions here: health, wealth, love, and destiny. And for each of them, we're going to apply the special topic question. Where are you? Are you in the happy ending, or do you need to do something? So it's a checkpoint. We'll start off first with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. And let's see what's going on, folks. Okay, let's move everything over. I feel like you're in a pretty good place right now. So for health, we have the Emperor card, which is a card of empowerment. However, it's a passive card. So when we think of Emperor and Empress energy, particularly when you're thinking about strategy and war and things of that nature, they're literally sitting on their throne. So I much prefer a knight or a page or even a queen, because there's a little bit more work. But like, I think right now it's saying, for health in general, you know what you need to do it. No more thinking, no more tomorrow's the day, today's the day. And no more sort of like dragging of your feet. It's procrastination. That's kind of what I'm picking up with this. And then also like movement, more movement in your body. One thing that I think I said a little bit ago that I started to do was, I will only sit for an hour or two, and then I will do stretching or walking the dog. I have to get up and I have to move. Like, your smartwatch often will tell you get up. Listen to it when it says get up. At least once an hour, stretch for a couple of minutes and move your legs, because that's one of the areas with the Emperor that can sometimes stagnate a little bit. If I were to just generally look at other things that might be going on in the body, fatigue. I mentioned it earlier, but like sometimes numbing things with sugar, caffeine, alcohol, or, you know, whatever your choice is, don't overdo it. I feel like that really has diminishing returns, and at a certain point it takes more than it gives. Again, inactivity, there's a lot going on with the legs, the ankles, the knees. We really want to stretch and take care of that part of our body. And if you had a wake-up call, the Judgment card can represent like a near miss. It's really your chance, your moment to not let that happen again. It's basically a wake-up call, okay? And let me just see if there's one thing that you can do to transmute all of this. So we have the Abundance card. It's saying there's more than one way. There's more than one way to exercise, change your diet, get active, whatever. Look at all of those and try them a little bit more. Also, fatty omega-3 acids. I'm looking at all the sardines or the fish. Make sure that you're getting enough. You don't have to get it just through fish for those that are vegan, but make sure that there's enough of that. It helps. I think it helps the brain and the eyes. There's a lot of things here that can be. So maybe take a look at, if you haven't gotten a blood test in a while, or talked with your doctor about nutrition, it might be a good time to do that. All right, let's move on to wealth, which is resources, life purpose, and career. By the way, the last thing here is just take control, take ownership of things. That's what's going to steer the ship in the right direction. Okay, wealth. I'm going to do a different deck for wealth. Interesting. I want to pull a clarifying card for wealth. Okay. The clarifying card is almost more powerful than but I'll start with why the moon came through. So the moon is a little heavy, and there could be feelings of, I don't want to do this, or this is a lot of stress, or just like feeling a little overwhelmed. And we can see it here. So you can see her kind of, the heaviness of the element of water, all the feels are kind of coming through, and it's too much. So take a moment, take a beat, take a breath. And remember that there's always a path in the moon. You're feeling the intensity of this so you can see the path. And I'm going to look at that card here real quick, and then we'll go into the oracle clarification. What you want to avoid right now in respect to your life purpose, your money, your wealth, is arguing with other people. The path that worked for them won't work for you. Overcome your fears and your habits when it comes to money. Overspending, investing, saving, whatever it is that you feel like you need to put a little more focus into, that's what you want to lean into right now. And then decide, we have the path in this card, what next? Because this moon card is very much in the now, not the next. That's it. Okay. I need like 2 more arms when I'm doing all of this. So this is fear and old karmic stuff. This is environmental stuff. And meanwhile, there's a lot of great things that are waiting. This is also the nexus between what you were expected to do and what you need or want to do. And you have to eventually follow the need and the want, not just the training. Talk things out if you need to work with someone because you're just feeling overwhelmed as well, because there could be too much stress at work. Okay. Cycle. Okay. First of all, I love that we have a vulture, which is not embraced enough sometimes in different oracle cards. It's a beneficial bird. It goes in and cleans up messes. But I believe this one was reversed. Let me just look back at the replay. But you remember what we said, you don't have to clean up anyone's messes anymore. Like that moment in time is done if you want it to be done. And I'm hoping that some of you want it to be done because, yeah, it was reversed. I just wanted to look at the replay. Okay, so with it being in the reverse position, this is what's going to help you regain your strength. Decide that I'm going to let go of this need to clean, to fix, to sort of like paste it all together. The cycle is over, and I'm ready to lean into opportunity. So by the way, vultures are opportunistic. Someone else's scraps are its meal. So I love that. It's a scrappy sort of totem, and it's saying, what can I make of what I've got? I used to call this shopping in my closet. Now, I don't have a closet anymore, and I gave away most of what was in it about 2 moves ago. But when I used to have old wardrobes, maybe like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I would think, oh my God, I forgot I had this. Why am I not using this? So I call that shopping in your closet. Before you go out and buy something, maybe you already have something, or maybe someone around you has something. And maybe there's a way that you can take a difficult moment and make the most of it. The vulture is inviting us to do the best with what we've got, and it's usually more than enough. So I like that. And again, as a totem, it doesn't get enough respect. But I want to look at this with respect to career because the vulture does carry with it a warning. So whether you're, like whatever opportunity you're looking for, remember the king card at the center? So in this card, there's somebody that's grabbing the sword. Someone else, and I even mentioned, they're going to take that opportunity. If you see it fast enough, you just say, no. If it's already happening, you learn from the experience. You can still fight it, but like if you can't change what's happened, you think to yourself, next time I'm just going to go when I say I'm going to, don't hesitate. Hesitation isn't good when it comes to something you know and feel you're ready for, okay? So let me see if I prefer not to drill into all of these because it makes it very long for each 5 sections. That's another 10 minutes. So I'm just going to pull some high-level notes with respect to opportunities, whether you're in school, retired, or looking for work, and then like money management, because I feel like we can all benefit from that. When it comes to money management, the 5 of Pentacles is in the fear place. So it's saying, I'm afraid it's always going to be this challenging. Moving into a different direction or changing things up can change that. So it's time to move on. That's one thing that I get. Whether it's Move on from a relationship where you're not getting enough back. Move on from a job where you're not getting paid enough. Move out from a place that's too expensive into one that is less expensive. Movement and change is necessary, but also not accepting less than your worth in any and all of these situations. Transferring, traveling, and moving. So transferring to a new school, moving to a new job, moving to a new place. It should be leveling up though, not just moving for the sake of it. You're either going to save money or make money on this move. That's the important thing. Beware of opportunistic people. Let people know what you want because they can't read minds. Not everyone is intuitive. Spend some time right now to redefine what success means to you and to decide what you're going to do to accomplish or achieve that, okay? Ultimately, the sort of silver lining on this is that we have the Strength card, which means you're going to end up better than you started once you kind of lean into some of these changes, okay? All right, let's move on to love and relationships and see what's coming through for this. Okay, different deck for this. So it's totally that song that I was singing earlier. Well, the two of them, like I still haven't found what I'm looking for, or if she knew what she wants. Because we have the Seven of Cups, but now just in the reverse position instead of upright. So, a few different things. This one I will break down because it's going to help, but first things first. Don't assume that others can read your mind, and don't assume that you know everything that someone else is going through. Communicate. Assumptions, as you know, don't put you in the best light. So try to vet your assumptions, okay? Ask questions, be present, and one of the things that this can do, like the way that you can do this for someone, let's say they're going through a hard time. How can I help? How can I be there for you? Do you need a listening ear? Do you want advice? Do you just want me to be here? Or do you need space? I can do all of it. Just let me know, so that I can support you in the way that you need, rather than jumping in and assuming that they want or need something. You can just sit there with someone for a second and let them be and then say, you okay? Hold space. What can I do? Hold space. Okay. Like that's it. You don't have to do anything except wait and ask. Very powerful. Also super powerful for those that are grieving. Like, just sitting there, they may break down. Just be like going in and making food, or that's why you kind of see people doing that, because for someone that's going through a loss, they don't want to run the errands, they don't want to make the phone calls, they don't want to make the food, they're probably not eating enough. So you can do little acts of grace and say, I made you something, it's in the fridge. Because maybe they don't want to eat right now and they don't need you parenting them. So I did this, I did that for you. Now I'm going to give you some space. Here's my number. Also, like, I'd love to see you tomorrow here. If you want to show up, I'll be here. Like, just do those little things and give them their space. And that's a great way. For whatever reason, like, I thought grieving could help a little bit. Now we're going to break it down into relationship energy. For this one, I do want to break it. Oh, sorry, it's not ready yet. The cameras. So hold on a second. I will adjust this, because I haven't done that in a hot minute since I was in this apartment. So let me just do two things here. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna state them because we're in real time here and I don't feel like fixing each one of these. Okay, so for those of you that are currently partnered, what I'm seeing for current partnerships, okay, is the following. Think before speaking because of the King of Swords. I mentioned some ways to be there for each other. Ask how they need or want your assistance. Now, the other thing is, I feel like there's a lot of benefit could come from just spending time with each other. This is literally just having a meal to eat together or watching a movie. Doing something that's a different level of intimacy. It's togetherness rather than sex. So just togetherness could really help. They are thinking of you now, and you might be thinking of them right now, because we have the two different Seven of Cups here. It's harder to see this one because I don't have as much space. But so let them know, hey, I was thinking about you. I've been wondering, like, I just want to spend some time. I just want to talk to you. Like, let them know, be vulnerable, and let them know what you want. Really, it's about communication. And then I mentioned earlier, like, an act of devotion. The Page of Wands shows rather than tells. So just show them through an act of devotion that you care, but then also follow up, okay? For those of you that are single and looking, right now, I think there's a couple of challenges. First of all, health, money, and your just schedule. There's a lot going on. General, like, exhaustion as well. But can you find someone? Absolutely. Three of Cups in reverse, they don't want to settle down yet, especially if there is a fire sign that's coming into your life. There could be a Leo, but the Leo is long distance, and that could be a little challenging. There's a water sign here, but also they feel like this one, it's not quite ready. So there might be delays. It's hard to make a date. So I feel like the best thing you could do right now, actually, is just sort of like be with yourself. Focus on clearing your schedule, clearing your finances, getting enough sleep, just sort of being still for a moment, and let this person, let this synchronicity connect with you, okay? And if you're single and happy, I think it's optimal right now for all of the aforementioned reasons. Many of you are deciding what now, what next, and you're deciding to kind of like pivot and make some sort of a life change, a major life change. So give yourself time and space for that. There's still new friends and networking opportunities, but it feels like there's a little bit of hermiting energy that you want to lean into. All right, let's take a look at a destiny card. Okay, more emotional energy coming through with destiny. We have the Page of Cups in the reverse position. Only if you want to is kind of what I'm getting with this. There comes a point in your life where you realize it's too finite and it's too, like, unpredictable. This is the best word that I can use. To not be happy. So if you have to do things just to get approval, just to get acceptance, or just to get by, but there's not enough joy, there's not enough happiness, there's not enough presence of mind and being, it has to change. So prioritize joy, happiness, and fulfillment. Possibly like the biggest key to your happy ending. All right, we have too many cards on the table. So I'm going to take a moment here and clear everything. So give me a moment. We're going to put all these cards back from whence they came. They're all going to their little decks here. And I want to take a moment here to tune into the special topic for today one more time. And then we're going to look at, for everybody that helped me make the, I'm glad it did take. I was like, I've clicked it 3 times. It's not working, so it did. And then we'll look at a special topic today. And I'm going to kind of go in the flow. I might just do each of what I wanted to do because I couldn't get the poll up. So, all right. Let's see which deck I want to use. This one. Okay. Show me something that we need to know about your happy ending. Like past, present, future. We want to just take a quick look at it. Now that we've talked about everything, what have you done? What do you need to know? And what's coming through? All right, so already with the High Priestess, you will get what you're looking for. You can make this happen. You're doing the work right now. You're blocked, though. And the block comes from self-confidence and self-worth. I think this is the 3rd time we got the 5 of Pentacles. And this one, gosh, this one really looks battered. Like they went all out on this 5 of Pentacles. So, wow. It's not as bad as it seems or looks in this card, particularly since it's covering the Magician or blocking the Magician. And you got both the Magician and the High Priestess, which tells me you can see it, you can do it. This doesn't need to be anymore. If you've had challenges with people not valuing you, because that can be this. They don't invest enough in you. Let them go. Let it go. Create some distance and space. You don't have to like literally let them go. You can just sort of say, I'm not going to put any more into that. It's their turn to pay it forward. If there's something and you're putting too much work into it but not getting enough back, do less. I had like a coaching session with a friend the other day, and I said to them, you don't have to work so hard at this. And we'll keep private what we were talking about. But sometimes your 60, 70, or 80% is enough because the environment that you're giving it to, again, lacking appreciation, you're probably still the hardest working person there, and you have to reserve more energy so you can do other things in your life. Something is no longer enough. You can already transmute this or work through it. There's a choice that has to be made in the magician. There's too many choices, so he has to decide this. You put it into action. You make a plan, a blueprint, a sketch, a little promise to yourself, and then you get started. And then it happens. This is the past. Not enough, not present enough, whatever. It's like enough is enough with that, in my humble opinion. Okay, perfect. Let me take a drink here, and then we're going to go into a bonus section. Before I do that, do me a favor, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Later today, you can check out my website from which you can follow me on other social media platforms. If you haven't already followed me here, please do that. You can give back through a super sticker, and that's actually how we got to this bonus section today. Excuse me. It's a lot of talking. I'm going to get a little cough drop. I'm going to do a couple of different things today. I was trying to put up a poll earlier, but it wouldn't go up, so we don't need it. I'm going to do all of them. I want to start off with messages from the departed. And I'd like to do like divine masculine. I do this occasionally. So we're going to look at like paternal energy first. So for those of you that have either a father or grandfather in spirit, I'd like to look at that. Oh, okay. What's the message? Okay. So for those of you that have a grandfather or father in spirit, they are acknowledging in a way, like the world that you're living in is much more complicated than the world that they were living in. I don't think they always knew that or could see that when they were in their bodies, but in spirit, it's a lot easier to see the mess. Because when we look at this car, there's a bunch of birds. They pooped all over the car. There's trash everywhere. It's kind of an indication of where the planet is right now. There's a lot of mess. There's a lot of chaos. And they're like, don't forget, there are good times still. There were good times before, and there'll be good times again. This is just a mess. Messes get cleaned up. And this can also be a part of your life. Maybe you are between jobs, between relationships. Maybe your health is not where you want it to be. There's this sense of displacement or messiness. It's both your insular world, but also the external world. And they're looking at this nostalgically, just kind of remembering. But also, there's always the good old days. Whether you were, it doesn't matter which century, which decade you're born in. Like you even look back now there's a nostalgia for like the early 2000s. I love that people are pulling up these old cell phones. Trust me, I use them. They were not good. You don't want to T9 text. Those of us that went through I went through all the technology from like Apple IIs to Macintosh to, pocket-sized CD, well, actually I remember Discmans and all of that. Like I went through the whole technological thing. It looks cool, But all of us that use tapes, cassette tapes, we'd never want to use a tape again. They're crappy quality. And I don't want a crappy flip phone that I can't text in and that the sound quality is bad. Like, nostalgia's a lens. It feels like it's easier, but when you lived through that, that wasn't easier. Talk to your parents about dial-up. That wasn't fun. So there are a lot of things to be grateful for now. And in 10 years, we'll look back and think, God, that was better. Now we have like these AI agents floating around doing everything, and that's not good. So trust me, nostalgia's right here, right now. Just be present in the moment. Yes, it's a mess, but the world's always kind of been a mess. So my grandparents were born like in the, God, were they born in the 20s? And my parents were in the 40s. It was so, I think of like what happened around World War I, World War II, the civil rights movement in the United States. We look at all, like, there's been a lot. There's been a lot in different decades. So there's a lot now. There'll be a lot in the future. There was a lot in the past. They want you to know that they're supporting you, that they love you, that they see you, and that you'll get through this. And that's what I'm getting from that. And that is a very paternal message. They can't fix it though, but they love you. So just breathe and find the little blessings now that you will look nostalgically back on, right? So again, as someone who's been through it, it's not as great as it seems. What I do miss from, let's say, like 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I was fortunate enough to grow up during a time where there was no social media in school. And there are no pictures floating around from any of the awkward years. I love that. There's no sort of like, it was like I was in my 20s and 30s when all that was happening. So like that makes you feel very, very solid. Like, okay, good. I don't have that footprint following me. So yeah, I'll take that nostalgic thing, but like some of the technology stuff, trust me, kids, it's not worth it. All right, we looked at grandparents and, father and grandfather. Let's look at mother and grandmother. Okay, got a volunteer card there. Okay, the black cat is actually a very great divine feminine card to come through. This isn't what, okay, so when you're a little kid and you put together all of your hopes and dreams, of course, because you're a kid, you don't really think about all the complications of being an adult, and there's some disillusionment that the mother is picking up on and the grandmother, and it's like, it's better than you think. There's something good waiting for you past this. So it's a different take on what the grandfather-father energy said. If you could only see what's ahead, but you're so focused on this and you're not even looking here. Also, they're looking after you, but they are not maybe as obvious. Like the Six of Cups comes through as a much more like active and obvious card. The mother-grandmother energy is a little bit more subtle. They're kind of floating off to the side, like looking over your shoulder, not wanting to interfere anymore. And the word anymore is key because it feels like maybe there wasn't good boundaries in life and there's better boundaries in the afterlife. But the message here is, I see you, I've been here, and it will get better. And there is something right around your energy that they want you to pay more attention to rather than could've, would've, should've. Never forget your ability to create. Remember, we got the High Priestess and the Magician. You have what it takes to do this on your own. It feels like they're pulling back a little bit. When you think of a cat too, maybe this is their personality. A cat is independent. A cat doesn't always want to be touched, doesn't always express itself, but sometimes it does. I think of the videos where it's like kneading your back or whatever. But they kind of do it when they want to do it and not always when you need it. And so there's also an acknowledgement with this particular totem that maybe they weren't always as accessible as they could have been, or there wasn't great boundaries or whatever. But they also want you to just know some of that was to build your autonomy, or their absence now was because maybe the reverse was true. But the thing that comes through loud and clear here is that you have the autonomy, independence, and ability to do it. Keep asking questions. Keep looking into things. I love this symbol. It's magical, it's unexpected, and it lands on its feet, and they are very much giving you a vote of confidence that you can land on your feet too, okay? All right, let's just look at sibling energy for those of you that are missing a brother or a sister. Oh, wow, this is kind of sweet. There are things that you do in your life to honor them, whether it was an older or younger. I mean, you're now at the point where you are the older. Isn't that interesting? Like, even if they were your old, there'll be a point where you are a different age than they are. You outlive them. So they are giving a nod to the fact that you're carrying on something, like a tradition. Whether you're wearing a hat, whether you picked up on something that they do, like there's something that you're mimicking, and they might have teased you when you were alive, but they're very much touched by the fact that you're carrying on their spirit. It's a little more difficult with the sibling. I almost want to cry with that because they see you and they're honored by the mimicry. Also, there is this question, and I mean, this happens for parents thinking of children, but it's really happening for brothers and sisters right now. You think, God, I wonder what they would have thought about this. Like, I wish they could have been present for this part of my life. I could use an older or younger or any sort of sibling right now. They think the same thing. And they're thinking of you. When you think of them, this is magical for everybody that's trying to call in a spirit on the other side. Your thoughts, it's not like they're just stuck in your head. They can hear a portion of those thoughts, particularly when you're directing them at them. So all you have to do is think about them, and that's how you pick up the phone. You can talk out loud, they hear that. You can talk in your head. You can just do something to honor the memory. And it touches them. They're flattered by that. They know that that's keeping the energy alive. So it could be something in your home, it could be something that you wear, it could be something that you do. There's something about them that lives on through the tradition, which is sweet. Okay. Children, probably the hardest to have in spirit. But let's see, for those of you who have lost a child, what's coming through. Okay? And what's the message from the child? Okay, I like this. I like the message. I don't love the first card. Unexpected, rapid, fast, too soon. The Tower is that. And it's an acknowledgement from both sides. Honestly, it doesn't matter how much preparation you have. I think it's going to feel like this. So I had to find my mom when she passed away, but I found her when she was sick. So she had a stroke, and I found her on the ground, and she wasn't well, and it wasn't a great scene. And I had to quickly make some choices and call and do a bunch of stuff. And it was tough. But it was tough for her too. So whether you're a grown adult or a little baby spirit, because she came back to me barely a week or two before, like, or after she passed, and said, it happened so fast, oh my God. There was shock in her voice. Imagine now the shock of a child. I mean, children have wisdom, but it's like they don't have the wealth of years then to kind of like quickly get through it. So there's a little of that. So what you can do for a child that was young that passed, or even one that was like 20 or 30 or 40, let them know that it was enough, like, and that you love them still. And some of what we saw with the mimicry, like you're just holding their memory with you, and that will help them get grounded. They're looking forward to something good. So I actually feel like they might be close to reincarnating, because you have a choice on the other side, and sometimes when there's a very young loss, let's say a miscarriage or a couple years old or just barely in their teens or something, they may not wait an entire lifetime to reincarnate. They may decide to do it earlier. And I get this sort of energy around reincarnating earlier. That tells me that there is a sense of release and peace, but they want to know that you're good, that you're okay. And that doesn't mean that you won't still be able to connect, because interestingly enough, the soul can actually kind of like think of it as a satellite. It can sometimes be in a couple of lifetimes at once. So it could be in a future, like when this baby reincarnates, there could still be a soul connection on some level where you're talking, the soul and you and that connection, but it's also now in a new life. So that doesn't mean that you'll lose connection with it. I actually get this anticipation and desire to want to do life again. So don't be afraid to let it, and I say it because I don't know if it's a he or she, don't be afraid to let the baby do that. It feels like it wants to reincarnate. Which also tells me karmically, you did everything you needed to do. Even if it was a short life, like it was exactly the level of love and connection that it needed to get ready for the next life, which it's very ready for. Okay? The tower can also represent something sudden like cancer, a car accident, or someone dying in their sleep, like it just happened fast. So there was a quick energy around it. And as someone who lost both parents to different, so my mom, it was quick, and then she died within a week of that. Not even, it was fast. 3 to 5 days, I don't know, it was fast. My dad, it was like 8 years of health problems. And I don't know what was easier. I mean, like when he died, I felt like I had grieved him for 8 years. And when my mom died, I was like, no, this isn't time yet. But I then took another 4 years on top of that. So I don't know what's easier. Death is death. And it's always going to carry with it pain because you're disconnecting from people that you love. But they're still here. I still communicate with my parents, but it's not the same. I can't pick up the phone. I can talk, I can send a one-way message. And when I'm lucky, I can get a receipt of that, but not always. So by the way, it takes a lot of energy for dead people to talk to us, and it takes a lot of energy for us to talk to them. So think of it as postcards when you communicate. You send your postcards to them, and eventually they'll send one to you in a dream, but it takes a lot for that return energy. So don't worry, they are receiving all the postcards. All right, so I think we've covered almost everything. Grandparents, parents, children, and siblings. Maybe just a friend or a partner, of course. Okay, those two. All right, what do I want to do first? Let's do a partner. Oh, very good energy for the partner. Okay. Okay. It's in a really good space for the partner. So the World card, so 4 years later, to put like a little bit of like silver lining on this stuff with my mom, she, about 2 years ago, before I did like the last move into this place that ended up not being great, but she told me, I'm not going to be seeing you as often anymore. I'm ready to level up. I was like, go for it. Yes, good. I'm very happy for you. I'll miss you, but I'm happy that you're now, the pain was gone, and she didn't need to do as much with the earthly energy anymore. So she was going into higher dimensions. This is what I get with this for those that have partners. Either it was so clean and clear that they just immediately went to the higher dimensions, or it's going to go pretty quickly. I don't feel like they're going to be as stuck. It's harder for you on some levels because your world changes, but this will be easier moving forward than you might give yourself credit for. It feels like there's something clean around this. This is a good card. You both are going to be able to move on, even though you mean the world to them and they meant the world to you. I feel like they also are giving you permission. It's a different type of permission, but like you can love again, you can live again, you can experience stuff. They want you to see the world and experience it. Because there is no sort of possessive energy if it's a clean partnership on the other side. Because we, throughout all of our lives, you love multiple times. So they just want you to feel love again. Some of you are working on mediumship with them. And you might hear them in your dreams, or you might be able to hear them if you're a good enough medium in your waking hours. But they're also tracking your progress. And if there's something that you need to say, I love you, I'm sorry, I miss you, say it and let it go. The frog also represents the ability to land on your feet, jump into something new, all of that, okay? I immediately just got a good feeling around this. Even though losing your partner is not, but I'm like, they're okay. I get very much that they're okay. Maybe that will help you, particularly if you're not okay, which is okay, by the way. But they're okay. All right. I was just going to look at friendship, because we all lose friends. And then I think I've covered every aspect of like who we might need to look at. So, again, this is a way that my guides work with me. It's not just a quirk, but I hear a song, You Were Always on My Mind. Like, is it the Pet Shop Boys? They did a cover of it, but there's an earlier version of it. So they're literally, like, that song is playing in my head, You Were Always on My Mind. So, and the way that this page is illustrated, like the cup right there in the crown chakra, they're still with you, like best friends for life and beyond. And the bond has not gone away. I mean, it's a deep, deep love. Almost partnership love. And maybe in a past life you were married. Maybe for some of you there could have been unrequited love. But I just get this deep, deep connection. And they're still there. They still miss you. There's a little bit of sadness that they can't be here with you now. Maybe because some of you are just going through a lot. And that's why we see the heart at the center of this. So mind your heart, take care of yourself. They're still there. The friendship is still there, but they are processing the loss. So just do what you need to do to heal from your side. Let them know you love them, and they're just letting you know that they're still present. But it feels like this wound is a little bit either more fresh or deeper or more complicated. And sometimes it does cut when you lose a friend that you've chosen, that you're besties with, because unlike family members, there's more investment of energy there sometimes. And you don't have to marry someone to have met your soulmate. Your soulmate can be a sibling, a lover, a friend, and anybody in your life. And I feel like this might have been a soulmate that's gone. So even if you're still married and have a family and all this other stuff going on, it's like, but I lost my soulmate. So I am just recognizing that, and it's beyond my pay grade to tell you how to cope with that, but know that they feel the same, and they really want your heart to heal, though, because that's the central theme on this one. Okay? So much like I think that's a common theme with everybody today. There's this permission to live your life. That's the best way that you can honor the people that are no longer here, is to live an amazing life, carry on their traditions, be happy, and live and be here. Because we only get this experience in this body one time. We reincarnate multiple times, but this experience in this body, and yours isn't over. The journey is still here, very much still here, okay? Okay. let's meditate. Let's heal a little bit, and then we will wrap this up. Let's take a few deep breaths. That was kind of heavy, but I do that once in a blue moon just because I don't feel like crying every weekly collective. And when I do mediumship, it makes me cry. All right, so if you need to cry, cry. But let's try to breathe and get ourselves back into our bodies. So put your feet on the ground, or if you're laying down, just kind of like really feel the support of the sofa, the bed, the chair, whatever it is that you're sitting in. Give yourself a little bit of a hug here. Stretch any sort of tension that might be in your body. I mentioned that cat. Imagine that there's a little cat on your back kneading out any of the tension in your neck and shoulders, and just gently move your neck back and forth. You can move your shoulders forward and backward as well. And now close your eyes if they're still open. Imagine that there's a cool wind that's blowing through your hair, that it's a beautifully warm summer day, and you're at your favorite location. I don't want to paint the scene too much, but just imagine that you can see the sun in the distance, and whether you're by the beach, in the forest, or in your own backyard, wherever you're at, there's this sense of being safe and at home. And as the sun shines down on you, imagine that your higher self is coming through with a message that not only are you capable, but that you're ready to step into something bigger, better, and brighter. Feel your heart starting to open up. See the golden light of the sun enter into the heart chakra, and we'll let the heart chakra do all of the healing and the moving. So that beautiful golden light heals any pain, any illness, any sort of block that you might be holding. And the heart starts to pump the light through your body, through each and every cell, each and every vein, each and every fiber, until, if you were to look at yourself from the distance, you would be a luminous, glowing body of light, pushing through the pain, the sadness, the doubt, and seeing now your happy ending on the horizon. Maybe it's new love. Maybe it's a new job. Maybe it's something unexpected. Think about, we're going to do a different final card. I'd like to kind of focus it. What is it that you want? What's your happy ending as you tune into your energy? And now let's pull a question, a final question here, final card. Gently open your eyes and let's see what's coming through for you with respect to this. What do you need to do? Decide. So, as a yes or a no, the Justice card is an affirmative card. It's a yes. But she's also saying, before you make a major decision, look at both sides. It's okay to say yes. It's okay to say no. The important thing is that you're getting your fair share. You're getting what you deserve. From a perspective of protection, like legal protection, insurance, whatever you need to do, financial, this card is saying make sure that you have all that you need. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Create balance, structure, firm foundation, legal foundation, and then say yes to your dream because you deserve it. And fight for it if you need to. She's holding a sword. All right. That, my friends, was an intense reading, but I kind of knew it was going to be because we have the solstice. But it was also very much my honor and pleasure to be able to do the mediumship at the end, so thanks for helping us reach the goal. If you haven't already, it's a perfect time to like and subscribe. And after this reading today, you can learn more about me by going to my website. There are ways to give back there, including PayPal. You can book a private reading. You can also give me a follow on social media. And right here, if you'd like to become a channel member or give back, feel free to do so. I would love that. Okay, I'd like to take a couple moments now to acknowledge everybody who gave back today. So let's do that. All right, so I'm just trying to find my way through this. All right. Fan funding. Let's take a look at everybody that gave back. All right. So, Jamie, thank you so much for 32 months, wow, of membership. I appreciate you, and that is a significant amount of time to be here. Thank you, Colette, for your sticker and for being a longtime member. And good to see you, my friend, as always. Thank you for, again, being a member and giving your sticker. Quinton, thank you so much for your sticker. Let's see, Ms. D, 1955, thank you so much for your sticker and for being a member. Kathy Smith, thank you for being a longtime member, and happy solstice right back at you. Thanks for the sticker. Casey and Bloom, good to see you again. Thanks for your sticker. Colette, thank you again for the multiple stickers today and for the membership. And Walk, thank you again. Celebrating 59 months. Get out of town, Tahoe. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I remember you during the pandemic and before, so it's good to have you here still. Wonderbar, thank you for your sticker. And Walk, thank you again. Jackie DeVilliers, thank you so much for being a very long time member and for your sticker. You're amazing too. Rob, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for the sticker and for the membership. Always good to have you here. Yoga Rising, thank you so much for your sticker. Let's see. Kat, thank you very much for being a new member and also for the sticker. Let's see. How do I say this? Lalith, Lalitha, I think it is. Good to see you again. Sorry that sometimes I struggle with the name, but I appreciate it. Creative Chick Studios, good name. Thanks for being a member and also for your, well, actually it's just a membership, so thank you so much for the membership. Shelly, thank you so much for the sticker and membership. Same to Mary Jones, thanks for the sticker and membership. And Walk, thank you for the multiple contributions today. Georgia, good to see you. Thanks for the sticker and the membership. Tahoe, thanks again. Following up with a sticker, I appreciate that. Georgia, thank you again with the sticker and membership. Tahoe, thank you again. It was worth it. I think it was worth it today. So thank you guys for continuing to push for that. PJ good to see you again. Thanks for the sticker and membership. Mel, thanks for the black cat sticker. I appreciate it. Yolanda, thank you for your sticker. Mel 305 Miami, thanks for your sticker. PJ good, thank you again. Tahoe, thanks again. Georgia, thanks again. Handan Gul Taksumika, thank you so much for your sticker. PJ good, thank you again. Ann Walk, thank you again. Leslie, thanks again for thank you for your sticker. PJ good, thank you again. Tahoe, you guys almost single-handedly, all the ones that kept pushing it, thank you for helping us make the goal. Lorena, thank you for your sticker. Sam Murphy, good to see you. Thanks for your sticker and for the membership. Georgia, thanks again. PJ good, thank you again. S. Colin, 1962, welcome as a new member. Thanks for the sticker. Jeannie, thank you so much. I noticed a little gem there. Thanks for being such a long time member and for the sticker. PJ good, you were amazing today with all your stickers, just like everybody that I've said thanks again to multiple times. Gigi, thanks for your sticker. Let's see, hold on, I missed a couple. Holly, thanks for your sticker. Let's see, is it Sana? Thank you so much, Taksumika. Casey and Bloom, thanks for gifting a membership. Damla, thank you very much for your very generous sticker there. And Jeannie, thank you for, or Jean, I say Jeannie, I'm not sure if it's Jeannie. Jean, thanks for being a member and for sharing the membership with others. I think I got to everyone. Yay! All right, folks, this was magical today. Let's bring Apollo up, if I can gently wake him up. Hey, buddy, want to say hi to everybody? Come on. I know, he's like, Dad, I just want to be here. Come on. Can I lift you up, buddy? Oh! He says, Dad, I was sleeping. Sorry I didn't have the camera ready, but here we have Apollo with some bedhead. Ready for a little bit of love and a walk. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. I'm nearly through all of the videos for this month. We'll get through them. I found a new format that I like. I'm staying here until almost the second to last week of the month, just because of timelines and everything. So I want to try to get all of next month's videos out before I leave so that I can enjoy the travel week, which will be the week of the 20th. And I'll figure out how I'm going to do dailies that week. I may just kind of like queue them up or I'll do one for the week or something. We'll figure it out. That's 1 week where I'm traveling, where I need to be kind to my body. So more to come. That's about a month away. Until I see you again, everyone, have a fantastic weekend, what's left of it. A fantastic week ahead, and much appreciation. Check out the solstice reading if you haven't already. It's on the main channel page. All right, everyone, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Oh, one last sticker there. Thank you, Maria. I appreciate it. All right, see you guys soon. Bye-bye.